Hello Buttercup, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is if you loved these books, then you'll love my books. And I'm talking about A Patriot's Tale, The Two Foxes, Danu's Curse, and Obsidian Murders. You can see them all very pretty on my bookshelf. And how this is going to work is I am going to list out 3 comparable books to each of these novels that I wrote and just give a little summary about those books. The Two Foxes is the first up. And if you liked these 3 books, then you'll enjoy The Two Foxes. Let's just jump right in. Flight of the Sparrow by Amy Belding Brown. A novel of early America, also set in the Massachusetts Bay colony where the main character, Mary, doesn't fit into Puritan society. Sounds very familiar, but we love to see it. I just like those types of stories. I think with a lot of research that I've did for The Two Foxes, I just grew more and more intrigued at Puritans in general because it's very strict. It's an odd society. So I can absolutely see why a lot of people would think the same, and then they would write that as well in the frame of this main character does not fit in, and then she has to either escape or somehow overcome it, and it's usually escaping. But we love to see it. The second book that I recommend is actually a duology, so I'm kind of cheating, but not really. Witch Child and Sorceress by Celia Reese. Mary Newberry is suspected of being a witch during the Salem witch trials, and she has to decide to either prove her innocence or run away. And the second book, Sorceress, in the duology, we follow Agnes, Mary's direct descendant, and Agnes is having visions of Mary and her past life. Such and such happens, you figure out why. But I just loved Witch Child and Sorceress when I was a teenager. It is young adult. The Two Foxes is not young adult, it's just straight up adult historical fantasy. But I was actually inspired by Witch Child and history detail and the great characters and the plot and just like all the things. I was really obsessed with that duology and I still recommend it. It's a little deviation, and I'm gonna mess up this writer's last name. I apologize in advance, but it is Hour of the Witch by Chris Bolahan. I'm so sorry, Chris. I can't figure it out. This is historical fiction thriller. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. And it's set in Boston in 1662. Mary Deerfield wants a divorce from her abusive husband, but she's not granted it. Yeah, surprise, it's Puritans. Like, okay. Her move to try and divorce her very abusive husband, there's no doubt, like, reading it, he's very abusive. For us, there's no doubt, but even in Puritan culture, if the husband was abusing his wives and children, not really gonna divorce. So because she did that, all hell breaks loose for her, and she basically has to survive and either get through it or escape. And if you're wondering, yes, all 3 of those recommendations, the main character is Mary. I have my main character Sarah, but I think I remember thinking, do we need another Mary in a Puritan themed book? We do not. Let's name her Sarah. Because there are other books about this topic where the main character is also Mary. I don't understand why that is such a big thing, but I want it to be different. And so I named my character Sarah instead of Mary. I bet that's not a coincidence, but understand why everyone names their main character Mary if they have like this very specific story. I don't know. But moving on to book number 2, A Patriot's Tale, A Girl Called Samson by Amy Harmon. Deborah Samson's born in Massachusetts in 1760 and is sold off as an indentured servant. Fast forward to the start of the American Revolutionary War, she runs off and disguises herself as a man to join the Continental Army, and we follow her through that story. Kind of sounds like my book, I'm just saying. The second recommendation, if you enjoyed this, you'll love my book, America's First Daughter by Stephanie Dray and Laura Camoe. This book follows Thomas Jefferson's eldest daughter, Martha Patsy Jefferson, as she grows up before, during, and after the American Revolutionary War. Fantastic book, loved it. Lastly, 355, The Women of Washington's Spy Ring by Kit Sargent. Love her name. In this story, we follow 3 young women for various personal reasons, become spies for George Washington. And all 3 women were real-life women making a difference during this war. I am just really fascinated, because I wrote a book about it, about female spies. I mean, namely during the American Revolutionary War, but also just spies in general, and how they defied the norms during the height of war, because being a spy is like one of the most important things that someone, not just women, but someone can do to turn the tide of a battle or multiple battles, or even like a good chunk of the war, or raids, or like anything like that. It's so important. And in A Patriot's Tale, Lily tries to be actually like Deborah Samson from A Girl Called Samson, but she's captured and ransomed off. But then she and the militia that's fighting for like alongside a Continental Army, trying to win freedom from the British, they realize that they could use Lily as a spy because Captain James Thomas is intrigued by her. And now some people would be like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you would think that, because when you use female spies throughout history, we're gonna be honest here, majority of the time, the ladies are sleeping with the captains and lieutenants and like the higher ups, and they have their ear after a certain point. But then there's also, it doesn't need to be sexual, but a lot of the time it is. In Lily's case, it is not sexual. She knows how to skirt around that. I just still find it so fascinating about female spies, especially during the times, which is like basically the vast majority of history, vast majority of history, where there was heavy sexism, but there's like a desperation during times of war where the sexism dies down a little bit, and so women step up into the spy role and do certain things that they normally would not be able to do if there was not a revolution or war. Now, the third book is Danu's Curse, and I'm going to start off with The Enchanted Swan by Christy Nicholas. This is set in pre-Celtic Ireland and follows the main character through heartbreak, magical spells, and a quest of good triumphing over evil. Yes. That's basically Danu's Curse. Different plot, okay, but that's basically it. Oh no, I don't have a magical spell. I have a curse. Sorry. It's in the title, isn't it? I should have caught that on my own. We're going for, if you love these similar books, you can read my books, or some books. You get what I'm saying. Song of the Fae by Trisha O'Malley's the second rec. It's a fantasy romance which follows Nolan, a Celtic warrior, and Imogen, who's on the ship that Nolan captures, but they have to work together, and then like they fall in love high to stop evil fae from taking over. Yes, I do love a story on a ship. We need more books about adventures on sea. There's no sea anything in Danu's Curse. It's all on land, but there's still lots going on that's similar to Trisha's book. And lastly, Druids by Morgan Llewellyn. Y'all know that I would mention Morgan. Okay, I limited to 3 books each, so I chose Druids instead of the other ones, which I love. Druids. It was I think maybe second or third book I ever picked up from Morgan. It's really in there. It's just part of my soul at this point. But anyway, we follow a Celtic bard in Gaul named Anvar as he tries to do whatever he can to help overthrow Julius Caesar from taking over Gaul and stripping Celtic Gaul of its freedoms. Well, you know, a plot twist, that does not happen if you know anything about history. So, like, I knew going in it wasn't gonna happen, okay? But Morgan writes beautifully, and you're just like, as you're reading it, you're thinking, it's gonna happen, but it doesn't. Last but not least, number 4 is Obsidian Murders, and going into this was a great just think about it, because I didn't want to say Buffy, because y'all know about Buffy, okay, and that's also a TV show. And I was like, well, it's also comics, but I wanted to like mix it up, okay, because I've mentioned Buffy a lot. So these 3 books, not Buffy. Okay, Dragons Don't Eat Meat by Kim McDougall. Kyra Green is an exiled Valkyrie that takes care of magical critters. Oh my god, I'm so obsessed. And one day, Kyra must go on a quest to deliver a baby dragon she previously rescued back home. Oh my gosh. I want the baby dragon. If you can see the cover right there. I want the baby dragon so bad. Okay. We're gonna go to the second book so I don't gush over the baby dragon too much. Bad Bones by Loretta Hignett. We follow a detective in Washington, D.C. Oh, here we go. Trying to solve a mystery of a missing half-pixie girl who vanished from her home randomly. Like, what happened? I don't know. That's the mystery. And if she doesn't turn up soon, the local Fae diplomat is going to have a lot of problems. So we need to find this half-pixie girl ASAP. And for the third book, I mean, it's actually a book series, and I'm being like a little extra right now because this is this is a huge series. I don't know, this might bite me in the butt. Let's just go with it. It's the Mercy Thompson series of like 14 books and counting by Patricia Briggs. It is different than Obsidian Murders and just overall the Midnight Detective Agency. However, it is urban fantasy. There is found family, there's magic, there's magical sidekicks, there's vampires, there's werewolves. There is technically in each book something that needs to be solved, like a mystery or a problem. And I think a lot of people discovered urban fantasy in book form because of Patricia Briggs, and so we appreciate her so very much. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these books, then you'll enjoy my books video. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.